Take a second to subscribe to Times of Wrestling Podcast on YouTube and hit that bell notification.
What's up, everybody? This is Times Wrestling Podcast here with a special guest. Like we are doing for this whole week, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be doing collabs with many podcasts, and we have the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk podcast. Everybody, go check them out. Their YouTube, everything down below. And let's get right into it. We're going to be sharing our screen like every single episode and showing the Instagrams. So first off, the Wrestling Enthusiast podcast. You can find him at Eric Peralta. Is that how you pronounce the last name?
Yeah, that's Eric Peralta, yeah.
Yeah, so Eric Peralta, go find him there. The Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk podcast, and a podcast about wrestling, current events, and a place to bow off steam.
Blow off steam.
A place to blow off steam. And then what is really cool that we're going to ask questions about is him going on Spotify. So everybody go check out his Spotify, which we don't see a lot of podcasts on Spotify. So that's really cool. Everybody go check him out on Spotify. And then Eric, is there a Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, which I don't know. There's other podcasts that have TikToks. Is there any other social media platform that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I'm also on YouTube. I have not got on a Twitter yet. I have not developed a Twitter account yet, but I'm going to be working on that pretty soon. Because I understand, I try to avoid Twitter sometimes, but it's because how sometimes there'll be a lot of followers out there, and then there'll be a lot of internet trolls out there. But at the same time, I'm thinking about possibly creating a Twitter account as well.
Yeah, great. Everybody go check that out. So we didn't tell you guys this, but we were talking about it earlier. Oh, no, actually, no. I'm going to show our Instagram first, and then we'll talk about it. Go check out Times Wrestling Podcast right over here where I'm showing it. Let's refresh because I think we got new followers. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Go to Times Wrestling Podcast. Everybody, go check us out. If you're not following already, go follow. We just did a recent podcast with Vicky Guerrero and a future podcast with Teddy Long. So everybody, go check those both out when Teddy Long comes out and Vicky is out on YouTube. So everybody, go check that out right now.
Holla.
Yeah. So, Times Wrestling Podcast, we do from 3, 5, 7, 9:30. Sometimes we could change our schedule if it's very important, if we need to fit in a different wrestler that can't do that time zone or our time. So everybody doing that. We feature up-and-coming wrestlers. Yes, we do sometimes, once in a while, talk about Dynamite or Dark if it's a very good Dynamite or Dark, which can be coming up if Matt Cardona does come to AEW, which we'll be talking about in this podcast, part 1. So everybody, stay tuned for that, but also we usually do feature up and coming wrestlers. So so you guys are going to see more of that than others.
Check these guys out. They're really brilliant. I just barely followed them, and you know what? These guys are pretty good. It's awesome. You guys got Vicky Guerrero on. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. And same to you. Everybody go check him out. Like, seriously. He's we just thought he was a random guy. And then I saw the Wrestling Enthusiast podcast. I don't know how to say it.
That's fine. I'll help you out.
yeah. Sorry. So we saw you, we checked you out, and we're like, man, this guy has a podcast. We're gonna go do a collab with him because this is the finale. So this is a special 2-part series. So this is the finale. So everybody go check him out. This is our Twitter. I'm gonna refresh because everything is getting little. Nothing changed. Everybody go look at our Twitter. Everybody, we posted the card, which I don't think anybody else has posted the card for next Dynamite. So if you want to see the card, go check it out here. We put it all Jordan put it all together with his techniques, and now we have it there. So let's go into it. Eric, I'm going to be reading you some of the matches, and we are going to be talking about everything and also going into other stuff. We are doing a 2-part series for this podcast. So I know a lot of you guys like to hear about how these podcasts started, and a lot of you guys like to hear about wrestling and Dynamite and the future Dynamites and the past Dynamites. So we'll be putting that in a 2-part. Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be putting it in a 2-part series. For this part 1 is going to be about wrestling. Second part is going to be how the podcast started for both of us. Some funny stories. I know you guys like our stories. They're really you guys all like them. We're going to start right now. Eric, this is what we're going to really do. I'm going to tell you every single match for Dynamite that we know of right now. I think they're adding one more match that we don't
No,
know.
I think they already got the full card because our Twitter only shows the 4 matches that were announced sort of like towards the end of Dynamite, but the last match was announced after Sammy Guevara returned to Dynamite.
Yeah, so go check that out. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk about each match and who do you want to win and who do you think is going to win. So there could be 2 different answers to that. And let's get into this, everybody. So starting off with, I think, my favorite match, and I think a lot of other people's favorite matches, Darby Allin and Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks in a tornado tag match. So what do you guys think? What do you think of that? Who do you think is going to win and who do you want to win?
Well, I think, looking at how Darby Allin just came back from his injury, and, he wasn't cleared for like about a month, I would like to see him get a victory. However, you see what Taz is trying to faction here with managing Brian Cage and now Ricky Starks. I don't know if you guys saw AEW Dark, but that's when it really originally started, and then Brian Cage started attacking him along with Ricky Starks on AEW Dark. If you guys saw that on YouTube, that was really awesome. So that kind of gave you like some sort of a clue going towards Dynamite from this past week. I just recently did a review on that, and to be fair, it was a really awesome Dynamite episode. It was one of the best the episodes that they put on since the pandemic started, in my personal opinion. Some people might think different, but you know what? I like all 4 participants in this match. Jon Moxley, coming in with that barbed wire chair or baseball bat, excuse me, and Darby Allin. I like Darby Allin here, but skill wise, you got to give it to Brian Cage and Ricky Starks.
Yeah, for sure. Did you say who you wanted to win and who you think are going to win, right?
I would like Moxley and Darby Allin to win. Brian Cage is going to get some momentum going on his way. And then Ricky Starks, he's just starting up from finishing up his NWA run and then coming up to AEW. And now, he's going to get a little something going on himself, So I look forward to what they're going to do with him in the future.
Yeah, man, definitely. Because, and not a lot of people know this, but Darby Allin actually leaked it. Darby Allin got knocked out when Ricky Starks, which I really thought was a really hard hit. I think that was not on purpose. Ricky, I think he just got a little too, he went a little too fast down the ramp. But Darby Allin actually got knocked out when he hit the floor. If you guys could watch the replay, which I can't post on this computer right now, but if you guys go watch the replay, he got knocked out. So that's really, that was really.
Was that when Brian Cage gave him a powerbomb off near the entrance ramp towards the ring?
No, that was when Darby Allin was walking out, and then Ricky Starks literally ran up on him and then hit him.
Oh, he clocked him from behind, right?
Yeah, and he actually got knocked out. If you could, he even said he got knocked out. He said that's not the first time I got knocked out, and played the video. So,
as a matter of fact, I saw that. Yeah, he looked a little like spaghetti leg.
Yeah, dude, that was actually I would be scared as a company to see that, and that was definitely not the intention to knock him out, but I think he said sorry after, like, backstage, I'm gonna give my opinion, and I'm gonna tell Jordan because we only have 4 matches, so we could spend a whole 40 minutes on this. I really, 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 really want Darby and Jon Moxley to win, but of course, I think, like, company-wise, I think Jon Moxley and Darby are going to win. After you see Darby get attacked and all of that, I think we're going to see them take the win. But also, after seeing Jon Moxley beat Brian Cage, maybe they're going to give Brian Cage the win against them, just as redemption. I definitely think this could lead into something, like maybe, like, I don't know, Darby Allin, definitely not for the title, but we never know. Darby Allin might get mad at Jon, and he might take his actions out on him, and then we got a title match. But definitely Jordan, or I definitely want them to win. And then who do I think are going to win? I have to say Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. Jordan, go to your 2 picks.
Now, I'm not allowed with words because I do either mumble a lot or stuff like that. But I want to call the Brian Cage and Ricky Starks the absolute machines, because when you put them together, they can do a lot of damage. as
That's
as
actually
we've
a
been
good
seeing.
tag team name.
Yeah, and it's putting both of their names together. Also, but and they do have a lot of power. But then you look at Darby and Jon Moxley. You got Jon Moxley with the extreme. You got Darby Allin with the extreme. Jon Moxley with the strength, and then you got Darby Allin with the athleticism. You got Ricky Starks has athleticism, not and a strength. You got Brian Cage with only the strength. So, I'd want Jon Moxley and Darby Allin to win, but I gotta go for the Absolute Machines.
Yeah, man, that's great. That's a great choice.
Yeah, that's a
Those-
good choice right there.
Yeah,
But
man.
I predict Jon Moxley and Darby Allin.
Yeah, definitely. He's on my side for this one, but definitely great choices. Let's go into you know what? Another match that in the women's division, I think the only women's division match for this next Dynamite. So, Hikaru Shida versus Diamante. Is that how you pronounce
Yeah,
it?
Diamante.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diamante. Which we just, I did Diamante just get signed, Jordan?
Yeah, actually, because on Dark they purposely had her pull off her first win, and of course it was against Kylie King, a jobber. And now she has 2 wins in AEW, and she's 2 for 4 now. So, and Hikaru Shida put out a message for the AEW women's locker room last week, telling people that she wants people to go after her titles. So
Wait.
this week
More challengers.
Yeah, is she or is she not signed?
she signed.
Oh,
It's
so they
obvious.
released that she signed.
What? Not yet on their Instagram, but I could tell she's officially signed because they don't have jobbers come on Dynamite
Okay, so guys,
2 consecutive weeks.
yeah, so
Yeah,
a match.
and AEW Dark as well, especially how
And
they.
and
Yeah, go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And they usually, if they're going to post a match and the person's not signed, they usually put this person is in action. They don't put both competitors for the match if they're not signed. So
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
So guys, sorry, Eric, I'm just gonna say this for everybody that's confused. She's not signed, but Jordan thinks she's signed, which if she does do a good job, then it's a higher chance of her getting signed. But she is not signed, everybody. So don't get confused in this video. She is not signed. So
I see.
Yeah. For anybody that's confused right now, she's not signed. That's just Jordan's opinion right now. But yeah, we hope she gets signed for sure. So
if I could be real brief, I seen her at Bar Wrestling wrestle when she tag teamed with Kiara Hogan one time, and I was personally over there in Pomona, California, and she looked really good around the ring, and she could move up and down. So she's really talented. It would be wise to sign her.
yeah, definitely. You don't want to lose her to Impact, WWE, or Ring of Honor because that's a really big loss.
And Diamante was also in Impact with LAX already. When Conan and Santana and Ortiz and a few others were still in Impact, she was actually part of the faction with Conan, but she hasn't been in Impact for a couple of years. So her being at a young age and already possibly signed, or going to be, I think she's going to be a huge asset to AEW.
Yeah, I think she'd be good in there, especially should become an addition to the women's roster, of course, which they have been partially depleted, with Britt Baker out and Chris Statlander out, and then I don't know whatever happened to Awesome Kong, but I think did she leave the roster? Did she leave?
No, she's still signed.
Oh, okay. She took some time off to what I heard.
Well, I mean, she doesn't have that many matches under her belt in AEW. That also being her age and stuff. So it's like Chris Jericho usually, because Chris Jericho only has matches once in a while. Like,
right.
They're just there along for the ride. I think she's more like a coach or a producer in the back rather than a wrestler. So
yeah, that could be understandable.
Yeah. So we're done talking about the other stuff about that. So we're gonna go right into the match. So Hikaru Shida versus Diamante. Eric, who do you think's gonna win, and who do you want to win?
Well, personal-wise, I like Diamante to win because that would skyrocket her resume. As being a former, being an AEW World Champion, that would shoot her up for a title shot. But at the same time, that depends on the rankings because you know how they're setting up for Nyla Rose to be number 1 in the rankings.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm just going to take that out of the conversation, the who do you think is going to win? Because I think we already know who's going to win the match, sadly. That's what kind of sucks when you have, person just –
But Diamante's good, though. She's definitely
good.
Yeah.
Don't get that twisted up, everybody watching. She's definitely a great wrestler.
Yeah, she's definitely going to put up a huge fight against Hikaru Shida.
Yes. So, but this is also, I could already tell from management-wise, they're setting Hikaru Shida up to win and then probably get attacked from Nyla or somebody else. They're definitely setting it up for her to get attacked because, that's what really happens. You saw it with a lot of other wrestlers. They get attacked after they go against, somebody just coming off a dark or somebody that's not as big as, the other wrestlers. So they're probably setting her up to get attacked by Nyla and Vicky coming out or something like that. So, yeah. Like I said, let's just take out who do we think is going to win because, sadly, we know Hikaru Shida is going to win, but Diamante is still a good wrestler. So who do I want to win? We already know who I want to win. Diamante, definitely a really good wrestler. She's not signed. Don't get that twisted. But I think it's a 95% chance she's getting signed after this match. Because why would they have her win a match? Why would she be on Dark, and then right after be on Dynamite, and then right after be on another Dynamite? So she's definitely getting signed. And she won those two matches. So yeah, everybody. Jordan said that she's probably getting signed. That's for sure. She's definitely.
It looks like it's heading that way. So I will have to wait and see how that goes. But it looks like it's heading that way.
Mm-hmm. And I already saw her on the preview for the Women's Tag Team Cup. That's coming probably in the next couple of weeks. They put her in the preview for it. So, but they didn't put Eva Lise. So that kind of tells me that maybe she already is, and they haven't released it yet.
Yeah. Eva Lise is probably more up in the air. I mean, I don't know why they haven't signed because I remember she did. This is not her only appearance. I believe one time she made an appearance was back at AEW All Out from last year, and that was at that Casino Battle Royal for women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Jordan, who do you want to win? I think we know the answer to that, but you could just go off of it.
No, it's gonna be both Hikaru Shida because I've watched Hikaru Shida from going back before AEW went on TNT. I watched her then, and now I watch her now. And even before she became a champion, she was always had that fighting ability, always had that fighting spirit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, and even she even beat Nyla Rose, and she had all the offense basically through that match against Nyla Rose at Double or Nothing. So I just think Hikaru Shida, I want her to win, and then who is probably going to win is probably going to be Hikaru Shida because she's the champion.
Yeah, and also taking control of Nyla the whole match is really impressive because Nyla is 2 times bigger than her and all that, so that's really impressive. But going into our, you know what, I would have to tie this with my favorite match, that and the Open Challenge one. This is definitely a really good match, and it's gonna. I think it's gonna go either way. So we have the Dark Order versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. So I'll give my thoughts on this first because I'm really excited to talk about this. I'm sorry, Eric, and I'm sorry, Jordan, for skipping ahead and all that.
No worries.
I'm really excited. I can't talk enough about this match. I've had so many theories about this, and Jordan and I have had so many theories about this, and especially me. I think that Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page are gonna break up, and I think this is where they're gonna break up. I feel like maybe Hangman is gonna. I think they might. Why would they lose to the Dark Order? But also, we're finally seeing Evil Uno, which we have not seen in a while. Like Evil Uno.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And literally, he's a really good wrestler. So seeing him out there, I think this is the perfect time for him to win, the Dark Order to win. So I think Dark Order is going to win, and I think Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega are finally going to break up, and maybe some theories that have been going around is the Four Horsemen, where Hangman Adam Page might join FTR, and Tully Blanchard will maybe start it and put Shawn Spears in it too. So that is one of the biggest rumors going around AEW right now, because it's been leaked that it might happen. So this is actually the perfect time for it to happen, and I think I know they're going to lose because it's an AEW World Tag Team Championship match. So why would that happen? But so I think they're definitely going to lose. Who do I want to win? I'm going to get hate for this, but I really want the Dark Order to win. I want Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega to break up so bad. They're not a good group together. They have no chemistry. They got put together from two very good solo competitors. I don't want them together at all. I like them at first, but this is just really unhealthy as a tag team and for their careers. So yeah, I think definitely I want Dark Order to win, and I think they're gonna win. So going on to Eric, and then going on to Jordan right after. Who do you think's gonna win? Who do you want to win?
You know something? I actually when I seen Kenny Omega and Adam Page win the tag team championship, when they defeated SCU at that Chris Jericho cruise, I was a bit surprised about that because I knew they were going to put on a hell of a match there. But at the same time, it kind of surprised me that they won the titles there because for them to be functioning as a dysfunctional tag team and then on top of that win the titles, that was I thought to myself, how the hell is this shit going to work? But the first couple of months, like you said, the first couple of months you're thinking, oh yeah, but sooner or later they're gonna break up because obviously they have disagreements with each other. The way their lifestyles and their aggression and their teamwork and all that shit. I'm sorry about that if I cuss. Is it okay?
It's PG.
Yeah, no,
PG-13. Yeah.
Okay. PG-13. Okay. So with all that stuff going on, you kind of wonder how this the chemistry would work for this team. So it's bound to happen for a breakup. And if this is it right here, this match, this is going to solidify it, and it's going to be obvious. Because if you can notice how when Adam Page was getting jumped by the Dark Order, and then you saw how FTR came up and started walloping every single member of the Dark Order, and then Kenny Omega ended up showing up late. Yeah, that's gonna pretty much solidify. So this match that's gonna happen next week is pretty much going to tease the fact. Now, as far as a prediction, we're gonna be talking about predictions right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But in my opinion, it's gonna be an interesting situation after this match.
Yeah. So is that all? Is that all?
Well, if Dark Order wins the title, that's going to pretty much going to be they're going to be a group or faction to beat. With the tag team division that they got in AEW, they're going to be the ones to beat. And you know how the Exalted One Brody Lee is going to be around. So, and him now with Colt Cabana, we'll see we'll see what's going to happen from there if they win the tag team titles.
Yeah, for sure. So moving on until we get to our final match, and then we'll go until the time runs out. We'll talk about the other matches. Yesterday, was it yesterday? It was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So Jordan, go over. Who do you think is gonna win? Who do you want to win?
To be honest, I sort of want, I do want Dark Order to win, but I just don't think they're gonna be the right kind of guys to beat. Hangman and Kenny. So
yeah.
I think they're still gonna retain, even though I want Dark Order to win. So I think if they lose, they're gonna have argument right after the match and just start wailing on each other, and the Elite come to break Hangman up, but then here comes FTR, and so I think the heat is gonna build over course of a month or two up until All Out, and it's gonna be the Elite taking on FTR with Hangman.
Yeah, actually, Jordan, that kind of gives another puzzle piece to the puzzle. I think
Right.
that's actually true. They're gonna show backstage, maybe a little argument after spring out. FTR comes to save them. Young Bucks comes to save them. And by the way, Young Bucks like FTR. I mean, they actually like FTR. So I think it's really gonna hurt them to happen. And then and then I don't want this to happen, but you know what? It usually happens with other wrestling companies. We have 10 minutes, so I think we will just talk about maybe the Cody match, and then we'll be done. So really, I think after that, I don't want this to happen, but after the match, FTR and Hangman win, or the Elite win. Whoever wins, I think Hangman and Kenny Omega will make up, and they'll just hug in front of hug, and then they'll make up, and they'll become a tag team again, and then go for the titles. So I think I'm just, you know what, this is my prediction for what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen after the match. But you know what, we could be totally wrong. But I think this is the perfect time for Evil Uno, first off, to come back, because he's a really good. He's a great wrestler, and then second off, for them to lose their title, this is a perfect time. Third off, a perfect time to start a new chapter to this rivalry. So, guys, we are gonna talk about 2 more matches: the Open Challenge in the future, what's gonna happen, and then the Open Challenge from yesterday. And then we are going to be done because we only have 8 minutes left. Then we're going to go into our part 2, and we will be out. So, everybody, I'll give my first prediction again, because I guess we're just going to go in this order from now on for the rest of the video. So, the Open Challenge match. It's really stressing me out, this Open Challenge match, because what I thought last time was Matt Cardona coming out for the Open Challenge. Now it was Eddie Kingston. Don't get me wrong, he's a good wrestler, but I feel like I just don't like him, Eddie Kingston, especially that he's like a downgrade of what I thought was going to come out. Like, if I don't know Eddie Kingston that much, but I really don't like him.
I mean, then again, you also have to think about this. He's also a little bit older, so
yeah,
he doesn't have that kind of ability to, you know, do what he usually likes to do, because he is an extreme wrestler. And I did mention that in a couple episodes ago, that he could be coming.
Yeah, I think a lot of people knew he was coming, because I mean, I thought Matt Cardona was coming, but also when he said independent, I knew for a fact, yeah, you know what, George's probably right. Eddie Kingston's coming out because he's a big guy, he's big.
Yeah,
and
it was a crazy match too.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that was big, and you know what, we'll just talk about these 2 matches while we're talking. So. Because we can't talk about who we want to win, who do we think's going to win about an Open Challenge match. So we'll just talk about who we want to come out. Personally, and Jordan, I think I know your answer too. I definitely want Matt Cardona coming out. I mean, he's such a good wrestler. I definitely don't want him going any other company, because that would really sting. I would not like that. EC3 stung. And I know for a fact Matt Cardona, if he does not go, that will sting even more. So I hope sorry. No, it's fine. So I was gonna say this, but also I don't think he's gonna come out, because why would they bring out 2 new people in 2 Open Challenges? But you know what? Anything's possible. I really hope. I pray every single night that he comes out, and I really do. So that's who I want to come out. And we could talk about both subjects while we go into this. I think it was a good match yesterday. A really good match. Definitely bringing out the tax was really impressive.
That surprised me a bit.
It did, but if I knew his background, like as an extreme wrestler, it wouldn't surprise me that much, because one, I'm really surprised that Cody went into them, because I kind of knew I kind of thought when Cody reversed it that Eddie was going to go into it, but I think Eddie's left or right leg went into it when Cody dropped him. So, you know, they both went into it, but Cody, oh my God, bleeding in the mouth.
Cody got the worst of that one.
Yeah, Cody definitely got the worst of it. They were all stuck in him. And that just shows you the wrestling is not fake, because you saw blood everywhere, and you saw him pulling them out of his arm.
Oh, yeah, I cringed when I saw that.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, just seeing that. I mean, as a wrestler, you have to be really, really, really prepared for that. You have to have guts. Like, Cody has guts to go into that.
Blood and guts.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fake that, especially WWE. We know they fake them.
I got to give them all the credit for that.
Yeah, definitely. So I talked about what I thought about that match. So everybody, this is what we're going to do. Just talk about – and make it quick, please. We only have 5 minutes. Sorry I didn't make it quick. But, just use 3 to 4 minutes. Or no, just 2.5. So just talk about what you think of the match yesterday and who do you want to come out for next Wednesday. And there you go.
The match was fantastic. It was physical. It was brutal, and they using the weightlifter belt too. That left a couple of sting on Eddie Kingston's back, and for Cody, with knife edge chops, especially when he messed up his knee outside the floor. Eddie Kingston, because I don't know if he was selling that injury or he was legitimate hurt. But either way you look at it, it was a great match, and the thought of them using thumbtacks for me, that was really surprising. Especially on TNT.
Yeah. So
great match though.
Come out?
Well, I could name probably 3, but I really don't know who could be coming out. But if they're looking through the independent ranks, they're probably looking at either maybe it'd be interesting to see James Storm, Zicky Dice, and from those 2 guys are from NWA, but from like MLW, I would like to see Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts of Matt Cardona coming out?
Matt Cardona, I would like for him to come out. He'd be a tremendous asset to AEW. The former Zack Ryder, I think he'd be a tremendous TNT champ, no doubt about it. But I think Cody will probably retain. So
you don't
put on a good match though.
Yeah, you don't really see like wrestlers that just made their debut usually win. Once in a while it happens, but not a lot.
Right.
Jordan, go into who do you want to come out, which we know for a fact. You're stuck on this Matt Cardona stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do want Matt Cardona to come out, but obviously, it looks like, but his former teammate Brian Myers is actually going to Impact Wrestling, which could actually leave a little more rumors of Matt Cardona. Because if he doesn't come out this week on AEW Dynamite, it could be leading him over to Impact. So I'm not sure yet, but I would like him to come out. About the match, I mean, I did like the part where they actually did show blood, because in AEW, it's more PG-13, like it's for, and it's not as fake as you see in WWE, because WWE doesn't like to incorporate blood in matches unless they have to. But in AEW, you actually never know when they're going to incorporate blood, and it usually happens a little more often. And they've only been around for about a year and a half now, and we've seen a lot of bloody matches. So I just thought it was a really great match. But I didn't really think Eddie Kingston would win. But I think they should have given a little more dramatic scene of him coming out. That's all.
Yeah. So we have 2 minutes left, so I'll just say this again. Guys, with Jordan's editing skills on his phone, we'll be putting these 2 videos together. Or, Jordan, if you want to make a part 2, like if you want to just make a second video called part 2, it's up to you. That's a rhyme. So everybody, if you like that, yep. Write that on a t-shirt. Yeah, hashtag put that on a t-shirt. So everybody, we're going to end it off here. And then if you don't, just like listening about wrestling, you could, then don't really, some of it's going to be about wrestling, like the wrestlers we talked, like the interviews and all that. But if you don't want to just hear about like other wrestlers, then don't go watch part 2. It's going to waste your time. We're just talking about our podcasts. But if you do like the like talking about our podcast, funny stories, all of that, then do go check out this next video. And Eric, this will be the same code, so just put it in the next 2 minutes, okay?
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll see you in a bit. Everybody,
right,
thank you, and you'll see us in part 2. What's up, everybody? This is the part 2. If you're watching right now, please enjoy. We're going to be talking about our stories of wrestling. Some stuff about the interviews of other wrestlers, all of that fun stuff. So everybody, please stay, enjoy, and go sub. So we're going to be talking about some stories. So we will give our story on how we became a podcast. Well, you'll give your first story, and then we'll give ours, and then we'll go straight into it. So give us your story on how you became a podcast.
Well, first of all, this was kind of like an idea that I wanted to accumulate from 5 years ago. Because what I first originally started to do was, like make some video blogs and stuff about wrestling pay-per-views because I figure because a lot of people do reviews about video games and cars and other stuff that's going on, like anything that's a hot topic. But nobody really did anything much about wrestling, and there wasn't that many people that were actually doing wrestling podcasts or anything like that back in those times. So at first, I began doing like these pay-per-view reviews, and these pay-per-view reviews, I kind of did it for a little while, and then I quit doing it for a little bit. It took me like a couple of years before people started telling me, "Hey, why don't you do your thing again?" And this is only like about a year and a half ago that I started doing the reviews again. But then I kind of changed my approach earlier this year, and I said to myself, "Why don't I just do like actual podcasting?" So I said to myself, if everybody, I talk about modern wrestling, and I talk about how the actual pay-per-views, the most recent pay-per-views that just happened, but then the pandemic hit, and then all of a sudden, some of the events, the number of events went down. Not just WWE and AEW, but like also like New Japan and Stardom and MLW, NWA, Impact Wrestling. The whole business really started to suffer. But my ultimate goal was to make it to Spotify, and I ended up doing that. I just barely did this like 2-3 weeks ago, I believe.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna give our story, but first, how did you get on Spotify?
Well, I have a couple of friends that started doing podcasting, and I always ask them like, how are you able to do this and stuff, and how were you able to not only get the right equipment and stuff, which I do have like pretty dumpy equipment, but at the same time, it could be possible from your computer or from your phone or whatever. So I said to myself, well, let me just do this, and let me record the audio, and now where do I upload? And then a friend of mine told me, you know what, try Spreaker.com. They have many distributions there, and sure enough, they don't charge you. They don't barely charge you anything. And if you want to get like hour storage or whatever, it's like $20 a month or whatever. But like that's a small detail. But anyway, I found numerous distributions that they found, and sure enough, Spotify was one of them. And as soon as I clicked on to say, "Hey, can you upload my my podcast there?" And sure enough, I put the information down, I typed it all in, and I uploaded all the audio that I had from all the previous episodes that I was doing, because at first I was uploading on YouTube, and I was barely getting any views, but the word of my podcast with my friend, he tried to spread the word on my podcast, but ever since then, I started working on trying to get my distribution to Spotify, and luckily 3 weeks ago, that's when I finally uploaded everything up together, and I've gotten at least 6 different distributions now.
Great. So for everybody that's watching, what is the app called again?
It's a website called Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com.
So,
And that's where you get to you create a profile, upload your stuff, and for literally pennies a day, you could just upload your podcast information. There's a free trial version of it as well, but you can only upload probably like 50 hours a month or whatever. It's not really that much. I just got the 500 hour one just to be safe. But nonetheless, I was able to upload it on Spotify, and I was able just recently got a contract with Google Podcasts. So now I'm
cool.
distributed there.
Oh, wait, so this all just got distributed from like a single app?
This one website could go to at least 9. They have contacts with 9 different distributions.
Nice.
iHeart Radio podcasts are also part of. I'm still waiting for them to distribute them, but for me, I'm like whatever with them. All the other distributions like Deezer and Podcast Addict, Apple Podcast, they also have that as well. So yeah, you guys could go check them out, and they'll definitely help you out with your podcast if you guys ever need any help. If you're starting one, or you're just trying to upload and update your stuff on your podcast, that's a great website to go to.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll go into our story on how we became a podcast, everybody, because I know a lot of you heard this, but for anybody that did not hear this, we will say it one more time. So first off, Jordan and I have always been friends, and so first off, I was telling him, oh, we should really become a podcast. He's like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do that. Uh, I mean, I don't want to really make a podcast about wrestling. That's not my type of thing. I'm like, yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And you know what? I started talking him into it a little more. He's like, you know what? Maybe we'll see. And sooner or later, he said, yeah, let's definitely do it. Let's definitely do it. I said, great, man. And you know, we started. So look at that. We started, and we're
And
now
it's
talking.
yeah, and I think it was only like a month ago that we started. It's coming up on a month of the week already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm glad for you. You know, because I always like to help out any. I mean, you know, I always like to shout out to any podcasters out there that are doing the thing. You know, getting their work done and trying to put their podcasts up there. So you know, and then in podcasting, you know, you gotta stick together because you know everything is with the pandemic going on. Everybody wants some new form of entertainment. So, as you know, especially keep them occupied until the pandemic ends. And then you know, so there's we could create a wide variety of different things to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
and I actually came up with this idea Honor of Wrestling. It's not, and don't be confused by Ring of Honor, totally different name even though it sounds the same. Honor of Wrestling, it's bit I I came up with that idea because I wanted to honor the fact that we still have content to watch for wrestling. We still have content to talk about.
Right.
And you know, and then again, this is also a lot of podcasts that are now on Instagram only started like a month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago at the beginning of the pandemic, and when we went into quarantine, and and that's the whole point of Honor Wrestling, that the fact that they started and they have content to talk about different types of wrestling, like if it's WWE, if it's AEW, if it's Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, AAA, Lucha Underground, Lucha Libre, or New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, they have content to talk about, so that's the whole point of it, and that we will release the date soon on when that episode will be dropped. Just got to get a few more stories in, but we will release the date sometime next early next week when the date of it and when it will be dropped. Make sure to watch that because it will have all the experiences and stories of how podcasts came to be.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. I mean, you guys are getting your foot in the door, and that's how it starts. You know, once you may at first, you know, you look at your stats and you're thinking, oh my goodness, why is it so low? And then,
Yeah.
but then you know, when time comes, you know, there's going to be more and more people that are going to get the word, spread the word about your podcast. Well, it might happen slowly, it might happen right away, but you know, like I said, you know, never underestimate your skills of being a podcaster because you know
Yeah.
it's the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And we also figured that since we have other wrestlers following us now, and we also got apparently Vicky Guerrero still following us,
Yeah, that's
we
amazing.
we figured that because we're being followed by them, that the people they follow or the people that's following them will be on the recommendation list. So we'll be looked at by a lot of people, and then also we're doing a lot of dark wrestlers. If you guys have been keeping up with our episodes, a lot of dark wrestlers, and they're always in the crowd every week on Dynamite and Dark. We
Nice.
figure that by us having them follow us and having them on our podcast, we'll be talked about a little bit more around the scene of AEW, which is our original plan. But now that we look into it, we're not just AEW podcast. We're more of like the universe of wrestling is like
Professional
what I want to
wrestling,
say.
yeah.
Professional wrestling, and so, and we're called the Times for a reason because these are the times of wrestling, and the fact that they've been able to produce content throughout this whole pandemic, and Yeah, and now we're reaching out to Ring of Honor Wrestling, Impact, and
Great.
WWE.
Yeah. So going into how we became into the interviewing business, I don't know. Do you interview wrestlers, Eric?
Actually, it's funny that you just mentioned that. I do plan on. I have not. I only had one special guest, and he's a friend of mine. And he's a big time wrestling fan. He likes the industry. We're always talking about the speaking out movement. Plus, during the time there was WWE Backlash where we were talking about the greatest wrestling match ever between Randy Orton and Edge. And that, and with that name like that, the greatest wrestling match ever, that's disputable. but
Yeah.
but in all fairness, though, it's everything. But I'm trying to get some people to get me following, and I want to see if I could talk to some of these wrestling stars to come out and see if they want to have a quick little discussion. I don't really have good equipment, but I could do it like we're doing here with Zoom, and I could also do it on IGTV as well. We could just do like a little live chat, and I could just like record. I could just rip the audio from there, and I could just have them as a special appearance. Now that you mentioned that, I do have a guest from California Wrestling from Hollywood. He's currently one of the commentators. He's a pro MMA fighter. He's training to be a professional wrestler. Blake Bulletproof Troop. He's going to be he's going to make a special guest appearance hopefully on the next episode of the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk podcast. I just recently uploaded one today. By the way, if I could make it just a quick little advert here. This wrestling podcast, not for the weak at heart. You guys are doing PG. I understand that, PG-13, but this is a bit more aggressive. So it's kind of no holds barred talk. It's no holds barred talk. Basically by how professional wrestling fans tell it that's relatable to the wrestling fan. Do it in a funny way and kind of vent a little bit. But that's how I like to do it, because I don't try to do it because it's a characteristic problem. I just do it because I just think I find it fun. I find it fun to do.
Yeah, for sure.
We try to keep our language like we don't keep it 100% clean, obviously, because there's gonna be times where we do curse because it's a saying or something like that, or just talking about how great a match was. But like for us, we try to keep it here and there a little bit, like 50-50, so nobody just thinks these teenagers are just cursing, we don't want to watch them. We like to keep them entertained, so when we do curse or anything like that, it involves a match and how great it was, or it's just a saying that wrestlers like to say.
Yeah, it's either going to be a great match or it's going to be a horrible match, And sometimes, like, whenever I say it's a great match, I'll either applaud it, and then I'll just say, oh, it's a good match, this is something that's really good, and but if it's a really crappy match, so to say, and I'm going to point it out and I'm going to put it on blast. Mm-hmm. But it's usually not talent's fault. It's usually the people that book the matches
or write it.
And usually in WWE's case, I talk smack about them a lot.
Yeah, so do we.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, I don't hate WWE. It's just that I think that I like them. I just want them to be better.
Yeah, so I think everybody could agree with that. But going into how we got into interviewing, so this goes into the story part, and then we'll go into some funny stories. So and then that'll be at the end of the podcast. Going to the interviewing business, you could say it's tough and it's not tough. We want to give a shout out to ARWP, my favorite podcast. What a great guy too, Eric Novak. If you guys want to go check him out, he has a personal and then _ARWP_. Go check him out, please. He really got us into. You could say he got us into it, and he didn't get us into it. If there's one person we wanted to ask for help, it was going to be him. He does the biggest podcast. I mean, he did Brian Cage.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
TJP.
Yeah, TJP.
TJP.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely really big on that platform of interviewing. So, you know what? He's definitely an idol, like a big role model to us in the interviewing process. because he gets everybody. He talks to everybody. He doesn't care if they're independent, any company, and that's what we do. I mean, we don't like WWE. We're not saying that if they become better, we're not going to watch them and slash them. Of course, we're going to watch, and I'm going to start watching NXT because it's gotten better. But I'm just saying, like Eric said, it needs to get better, and we want it to get better, but we're going to keep slashing it until it gets better. So at least that's what we're going to do.
Right.
Yeah, so basically we went to him, and how do we start interviewing? That's the question we asked. And I don't think any of you guys heard the story before, but we asked, oh, how do we get into the interviewing business? He's like, it's a game, and you got to play it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to play this game. So we DM'd a lot of dark wrestlers. We got messages right away from them because they're very humble. They're not signed, so they're not like, oh, yeah, let me bathe in all this glory, or, oh, yeah, I have so many people DMing me or anything like that. They're very humble people. They know where they came from. They also have some of them have podcasts themselves, so they know I have to support for you to get supported. So, like, all of that. So we got into it. I can name some of the people we did. So I think our first person that messaged us back was Will Hobbs. We have still not gotten to do an interview with him, which really sucks. He's still giving us a date and time, so that really sucks. Our first podcast, though, was Anthony Ogogo. Anthony Ogogo, he actually is a 2012 Olympic gold medalist and then a wrestler signed to AEW. So everybody go check him out.
I heard of him before. He won an Olympic medal, I believe.
And he did accidentally leak some information, but we don't think it matters anymore because it already happened. But he actually said he was the one who was supposed to debut at Fyter Fest because they were going to be at Wembley Arena in the UK. But I thought it was going to be Marty Scurll because he was on a Being the Elite episode. I think he was the Stadium Stampede Being the Elite episode, and he just showed up, and everybody was like, why would he come back all the way, like travel to the US just to do that, like, and not be signed to AEW? So me personally, and a lot of people thought he'd be the one debuting at Fyter Fest, but it ended up supposed to be Anthony Ogogo.
Yeah. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, we did Anthony Ogogo. We do a lot of people. We saw I think 4 more people to go. We have Fabu Andre. Not a lot of you guys know him. Yeah. Do you know him?
No, not personally, but I think I've heard of him once.
Through a wrestler.
Just through wrestling. Nice guy. Not the best podcast because we didn't know how to do podcasts at that point for interviews. That was my first interview podcast. So we were looking to get Anthony and him back on the show eventually so we could redo this. We did Fabu. We did Ryan Rembrandt. We did David Ali, which is really fun. I mean, that was definitely my favorite interview by far. It was very like open. It wasn't awkward at all. With some wrestlers, it could be awkward because you never met them before. But
it could be too because you could be starstruck sometimes.
Yeah, they're very shy or they've never been a part of this. He was the coolest. We cracked up a lot, laughed a lot of jokes going around. So we definitely consider him as a friend to the podcast group. And then we emailed a lot of people, DM'd a lot of people. We did Ryo. He's at Ring of Honor right now, but he's very open about where he wants to sign, and he wants to sign at WWE. So we really hope that he gets to go to WWE and fulfill his dreams.
We did Red Velvet.
Yeah, we did Red Velvet just a couple. I think at 3 o'clock. Yeah, very, very, very nice. Very nice lady. Great wrestler too, and we hope to do her husband too. So,
and if you guys are familiar with the Briscoe name, you probably will know him. Wes Briscoe is her husband, and his uncle actually is Jerry Briscoe.
Yeah, from Wes Briscoe from Ring of Honor, former Ring of. Are they currently Ring of Honor tag team champs right now, or is that?
No. I'm talking like the Briscoe brothers from like back in the day. Not
Right.
Yeah.
The Jerry and Gerald and Jack.
I think
the Briscoe brothers.
One of them did pass away a few years ago. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But we're working on to get him. So if you guys are familiar with the Briscoe name, you will definitely want to join into that podcast.
That'd be great.
Yeah, going into some more people, we are in the talks with Griff Garrison. I know a lot of people know him. He's an internet meme right now for
Jungle Man.
Yeah, Jungle Man.
Jungle Man, yeah, that was hilarious what the MJF did.
Yeah, really.
MJF just mocked him.
Yeah, it was funny. So we did Low Rider, really cool guy, family man, good, very good wrestler, and yeah, that was fun. We're doing Prolific Moose, Moses.
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 Yeah, he is. We're doing him. That's gonna be really fun. He is from Ring of Honor, I believe so. And then we did a lot of other people. And here's the people we're in the talks with. We're in the talks with Christy Janes, a very famous AEW wrestler. We're in the talks with Will Hobbs, like we said before. We're actually in the talks with The Godfather, The Godfather. We are in the talks with Teddy Long, a very popular man.
James Ellsworth.
Yeah, James Ellsworth.
James Ellsworth. Yeah,
the
that's
double chip.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we are in the talk with a lot of people. We are in the talks with I think that's really it. We're gonna have a lot of Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
Yeah,
Brian Johnson. Huh?
Yeah, Brian Johnson.
Wow.
Krypton Twins. And I don't think you've heard of him. He's independent. A lot of people, man. It's really fun to interview and see what they're going through every single day. Seeing their what they do as wrestlers. It's really fun. Dude, I totally forgot. This is Friday tomorrow. We are actually interviewing John Schuyler. So I just forgot that.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, cool. And I do have a feeling he will be signed to AEW one day because even with his knee injury that he suffered like a month back, he's still been in the stands every week. He's usually on the left side of the ring. If you guys haven't checked out the fans, he's always sitting there. He's just waiting to be cleared so he can come back.
Yeah, for sure. And then so that's all the people we're interviewing right now who we're in talks with. It's gonna be really fun to interview them, see what their thoughts are. And that's really it. We're wrapping it up there with the interviewing process. But now we're gonna go into our funny story. This actually has to go into someone we're in the talks with. Everybody knows his name, Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton. We're in the talks with him right now. If you do know him, Eric.
Yes, I do know who he is. He's one half of the Rock and Roll Express, right?
Yeah. So we're in the talks
legendary.
Yeah. So this is a funny story. We have two funny stories, so we'll tell them both, and then you could tell them, and then we will end this podcast. We'll end it off. So this is a very confusing story. So Jordan and I were just starting an interview process, just I think 2 weeks into getting into the interviews, and then I emailed Ricky Morton because I'm like the manager. I'm the head of DMs, booking people. Yeah. And then co-host too. So I email everybody, DM everybody. So I emailed Ricky Morton. I'm like, hey man, Rock and Roll Express. Never heard of him a day in my life.
Even though I know who he is.
Yeah, I really didn't. I didn't watch WWE back then. I don't watch old WWE. I didn't like it back then, but I did like it in 2010. So don't hate me. I was a big wrestling fan, a WWE fan. So I emailed him personally. I'm like, hey, I'm Trent. I'm the co-host of Times Wrestling Podcast. Immediately emails, I think, at nighttime, like at 12:32 at night.
Shit.
So I get a call from Trent, obviously.
Yeah. So no, that's not the story. You do get a call from me, but not right now. So he emails me back saying, I could be on your podcast, but I'm gonna have to charge you $50 for 10 to 20 minutes. I'm like, you know what? And then that's when I called Jordan. I called Jordan saying, hey, we got Ricky Morton. He went crazy. He told his dad, because his dad's a pretty big old wrestling fan. So told his dad, he's like, wow, you got Ricky Morton. That's when we got a lot of followers. That's when our ball started to get rolling. That's when we got like people are starting to notice us. We got a lot of wrestlers like looking at our story, and we
Yeah, and
DM
that's
them.
also when people started to take us seriously.
Yeah,
Not
Yeah,
just
that's really cool. That's
yeah,
really
people
cool.
Yeah.
aren't taking us seriously in the interviewing business. They're like, these are a bunch of kids not interviewing. I think we got 6 people in one day, and that's when people really knew, oh my, holy shit, these guys are like serious. I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you pay attention to our Instagram story, we are very active on our stories, and we do let you guys know anytime we find out that people are gonna come on.
yeah.
That's
So
good. That's good. I like that.
yeah, we're very generous with letting people like know, oh, these guys are gonna answer right away.
Hmm.
So yeah, as a podcast, we like supporting other podcasts. We definitely don't want to see people copy us, but you know what? If they're doing the same thing as us, doing it
So
clean,
be it.
yeah, so be it, man. This is a saying I like to say before I get back into the story. Whenever you're running a race, don't look behind you. Just look straight ahead, and you'll run fast. You'll run faster, maybe as tied or faster with them. So don't look back when you're running. Look straight forward. Do your own thing. Don't look back at what they're doing because you're just gonna get more confused, and they're gonna do better things than you are doing when you just look back at theirs. So focus on your stuff. Everybody that's doing interviews. If you just look back at ours or look back at anybody else's, you're just gonna be behind. So
Just
yeah.
do what you do. You know,
Yeah,
just
do you. Yeah, do you, man. Don't copy. Don't copy. You don't look back. Just do you. Everybody that has a podcast that's watching. So we go into it. I'm like, and we use this. I use this as my charmer. I said, let me put it straightforward to you. I'm 14 years old. Me and my co-host are 14 years old, which we are. We are definitely the youngest podcast group, which people really don't know, and that's why we really don't tell them our age. We don't show our faces. Because if they know we're young, then they're just going to say, oh, yeah, we're not going to take you seriously. When we don't show our face, when we don't tell them their age, they take us serious like adults. So, we like that more, not showing our faces or anything like that. But we had to show our faces to Vicky because, that's respectful. She's big. That's very respectful. Not saying that the other people are not big, but you know what? We have to keep it as if they don't have a policy of showing their faces, then don't. But Vicky definitely has a policy of showing her face for sure. Because other people show their I know other podcasts that don't show their faces on different podcasts, but when they go on Vicky's podcast, yeah, they're gonna show their face because she's humongous. So we showed our face for the first time. Everybody like, oh wow, they're young. Yeah, we are young. We are definitely ruling in the interviewing business for AEW, the AEW podcast community, or for the podcast community in general for wrestling. We're definitely in the top 3. We've done checks where we've seen, oh wow, yeah, we're doing the best. We're out of 3 podcasts. I think it's ARWP, and then I think there's one more that does a lot of big people. But we're definitely in the top 3, getting all these big wrestlers, and we're like, yeah, we're kids, and everybody took us seriously. So going into Ricky Morton, I'm like, dude, we're 14 years old. We're in a virus right now. We really don't have a lot of money to spend on a podcast. Yeah.
Oh
So
boy.
yeah. So he's like, I think 10, 15, maybe 30 seconds later, he responds saying, "I'm so sorry. Me and my manager will give it off charge. We did not know you're this young," which really goes into showing that people do they don't pay somebody that's underage. I mean, why would you do that? I get overage. I mean, they're grown up. They have money. And James Ellsworth did the same thing. But if they're nice, they say yeah. If they're mean, they're just saying, "Oh, sucks for you, kid. You don't have money. Deal with it in life. You're gonna have to have money," which really sucks. Wrestlers do that, and yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
So,
that's really bummy, but
yeah. So yeah, he said, "I'll give
sometimes
you."
you'll get bump into people like that.
Yeah, for sure. So he's like, "I'll give you 15 minutes free." We're like, "That's all the time we need to answer questions." We have 10 minutes, so I'll just wrap up the story. I'm sorry, Eric, that you didn't get the
No
10
worries.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Hopefully we could talk again later and maybe a couple weeks. So yeah. So we're like, yeah, he's like 15 minutes. We're like, we respond. The last time we heard from him when we responded, we're like, "Oh yeah, we'd love to have you on our podcast. It's for 15 minutes. That's great. We'll do Monday or a random day and a random time." We said we'll just DM you through Instagram so you could so this could be a faster process because I don't want to email back and forth. And he does not respond to our email, which I thought it's not that surprising. because he could have just read it. I DM him, reads it, does not answer. And we go through his son. Son does not answer. And you know what? We tricked him, and then he tricked us. So
Right.
Well, we didn't really trick him. Ours
yes,
was actually
we didn't trick him, but we did trick him with we didn't trick him with the age, but we kind of tricked him by like, you know.
I mean, we really don't have a credit card, so we can't really send him our information.
Yeah, so that really sucks. We didn't do that, and he didn't answer back. So that definitely burned a little bit. But going on to our last funny story, we tell this to every single person that's on the podcast that talks about their own podcast because it's a really funny story, and we like to tell it because, you know, we just starting off this podcast is cool. So let's put it straight up, we've only been a podcast for 4 weeks, and we're doing really good. So just
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I'm really happy with that. I always like talking about that because there's some podcasts that have been around for like a year and don't have as near as much recognition as we do. So I don't want to brag, or I don't want to be a douche by bragging about things. But
I mean, I'm barely getting on the followers too myself. But
yeah, dude, you're growing, man, and we hope you grow even more. Everybody, go follow him. By the way.
Yeah, actually, the first time I saw how many followers you actually only had 100, and that was only a week ago. So you grew like 300, like probably 300 followers.
It's funny, because I kind of advertised my thing a little bit, and then the more and more people started to look, and all of a sudden people started to follow. So started coming along.
Yeah, you know what? If there's anything I like to see that's satisfying, seeing someone with like say like zero followers or zero subscribers, then they just skyrocket. That's what we do. We skyrocketed and we grew 300 followers in one day, and then so that was cool. So going into the story, we were 1 week into our podcast, and we were getting DMs because we weren't the smartest people at the time. We weren't the smartest people podcast wise or business wise. So we were asking a lot of people, who wants to work for us? Which now I look back at it, we shouldn't have asked that because we can't trust other people from across the country or across the globe, especially India, because the kid that was messaging us was all the way from India. So
and he was scamming us.
Yeah, what?
He was screwing around with us a lot.
No, I think he was serious because he's a 9-year-old kid, so he was definitely serious on some parts. Some other parts, he was just
9-year-old kid, huh?
Yeah. So he DMs us saying, because we DM'd him because he said he wanted to work for us. And we give everybody a shot. We're like, yeah, you want to work for us? You want to be a co-host? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what's your experience? He's like, I am the CEO of India. I'm like, dude, you're not the CEO of India. That's yeah. I'm like, you're a 9-year-old kid. We see you playing.
That's funny.
The
CEO of India.
Yeah, we see you playing Fortnite on your. I don't think the CEO of India plays Fortnite on there, and there's not even a CEO of India. So I don't know what he's talking about. He's like, oh, let me just say this. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm a really big fan of your podcast. Ever since I was born, I was a big fan for a couple years. I'm like, dude, we have been a podcast for about a week, and you're not a fan at all. If you were a fan, then you'd know a lot about AEW. So he's like, oh yeah, I can name some wrestlers. I said, name some. He said, I said specifically, name AEW wrestlers. He says, The Great Khali, John Cena, The Rock. I have to give him some credit. He then named, but it took him 15 minutes. So I feel like he searched them up, copy and paste. And then he said John Moxley, Darby Allin, and then spelled all their names wrong. Yeah, so that happened. And then and this is where it gets really creepy because it became a harassment problem where we block him because we don't want to deal with that shit. We blocked him saying, hey man, no, we don't want to be a part of that. And then he finally says, I think he said, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Please just let me be on the podcast. We said no, blocked him. And then this is where it became harassment. I'm not going to say stalking, but it became a little bit of stalking. He literally started harassing us by going on his mom's account and his dad's account. I've never met somebody so committed.
That's a bit little bit of lunacy there on that part.
Yeah. So I said, So he's like, yeah, can I be on your podcast? I'm like, dude, seriously, you're stalking us on like social, like cyber wise. We don't
Right.
want to be part. Like, we would have gave you a shot if you could name a wrestler, and if you were a little bit nicer about it and not creeping us out. So he's like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, nah, dude, sorry, you're not being on the podcast. Went on his dad account, said, please, 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 blocked him, and that's the end of the story.
I mean, see, the thing about in the nation of India, they follow WWE a lot religiously. So and they are professional wrestling fans a lot over there. But I think some of them are sometimes, I guess, they're like committed to WWE more because they recognize that as wrestling. So it's kind of a bit of a misguidance towards talking about professional wrestling as a whole, not just one organization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've got a lot of followers from there too, but I keep an eye and I make sure that they're not doing nothing, crazy like that. So, because if they're going to be doing something like that, you're blocked.
Yeah, for sure. We warn everybody that does that to us. So, guys, I'm sorry to everybody watching.
No, it was a great story, though. Great story.
Yeah. Sorry we ran this time down so much, but this is the end of the podcast. We're going to share our screen one more time for everybody that wants to watch. Let me get.
And you can't leave this time. You will be caught.
Yeah, don't leave at the beginning. You will be caught. We will find you, and we will kill you. No, I'm just joking. We won't do that.
Kidding. He's kidding.
No, they're not going to do that.
Yeah,
they're not going to do that.
That's
folks.
a joke.
Don't worry about that.
People who take that to offense, you can't take a joke.
Yeah. We're not doing that. I don't think we could find out where you live. No, I don't think. I know we can't find out where you live. So don't get.
No, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's not happening. So don't take that too personal. We're not doing that. It's from a movie. So everybody that doesn't know it, it's from a movie. I'll find you and I will kill you. I don't know what movie that's from, but it was an
Taken.
Yeah. So that's an internet meme. So everybody just don't take it personal. So and actually, Eric, you gained a follower. So yeah, we like to refresh. So everybody go follow him. He's on the road to 500 and especially on the road to 1,000 followers. Go look at his Spotify. Where he posts a great podcast on Spotify.
And I just barely uploaded that podcast just about an hour and a half ago. So there you go. It's about this week's AEW Dynamite episode. And I also make the announcement where I'm going to have Blake Bulletproof Troop is going to be on my podcast as well. Hopefully, this is going to be the beginning of having more wrestlers, more talent to be on my show. There's 3 names that I would like to have on my podcast. I would like to have TJP. I would like to have Maki Ito from DDT Pro in Japan, and I would like to have Thunder Rosa on my show.
Great, yeah, great. So we're just gonna show that those.
I just have to talk to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those are 3 good choices. And then so. Wrapping it up, go follow us, Times Wrestling. We don't have a lot of time. We only have a minute left. So I'm going to stop. Everybody, thank you. Go follow, subscribe, all that stuff.